Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on my latest video. It's Beatle Dave, your friendly neighbourhood record collector, calling to you from a very sunny Derbyshire in the United Kingdom at the minute. Today's just going to be a quick video because we're getting ready to go to our trip to Liverpool tomorrow. So I thought we'd take a look at when is a Beatles album not a Beatles album sort of thing. And the closest you're going to get is something like this. I'd say the Traveling Wilburys, like a bit of a supergroup, weren't they? Put together by George, Jeff Lynne, Bob Dylan, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty, and of course the drummer was Jim Keltner, wasn't it? They never actually toured, which I always thought was a bit of a shame, but excuse me, I think one of the reasons they didn't was because originally, don't know how true this is, I can sort of remember seeing this on a documentary once, that George was putting out a single from his Cloud 9 album, and the B-side, the record company rejected, or they didn't like it or something, and they says, well, really got to do another B-side. And because Jeff Lynne was producing him, he says, well, Tom Petty or somebody's in town. Don't know how true this is, right? So Tom Petty came along, and then Bob Dylan came along, Roy Orbison and stuff like that. You know, if that is true, what a fantastic coincidence, eh? Some brilliant songs on this. Some of it does sound a lot like ELO in places. You can usually tell who's wrote the song because the ones that George sings do sound like a George Harrison song, and vice, you know, Bob Dylan's do sound a bit like a Bob Dylan song and things like that. But that's not a bad thing. Some terrific songs on here. Handle with Care, massive worldwide hit, wasn't it? Dirty World, Rattled, Last Night, another great song. Not Alone Anymore, Side 2, Congratulations, which just to me is a bit of a letdown on this album. It's okay, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. I'd just say it's not the greatest song on the album. Heading for the Light, Margarita, Twitter and the Monkey Man, and then it finishes off with End of the Line. Now, by the time End of the Line was released as a single, unfortunately, Roy Orbison had died and passed away. And on the video, they do, I think it's like a really, really nice sort of tribute to him, because when it's his bit to sing in the video, they've just got a rocking chair with it, you know, the chair's rocking with his guitar on it. Marvellous, absolutely fantastic. They did actually do a follow-up album, and this was called Traveling Wilburys #1, wasn't it? So what do you think the second album was called? It was actually called Traveling Wilburys Volume 3. So there's no Volume 2. Again, I think that was down to George's sense of humour more than anything. You could get this on CD, and then there was a CD box set that came out featuring both of the albums. It is one of those albums which is very, very enjoyable to listen to. Even though I've said that about Congratulations, I'm not saying it's a crap song or anything. I'm just saying, to me, it's probably the weakest song on the album. You might think something else is like Tweeter and the Monkey Man. You might not like that one, or you might not like Handle with Care. I think Handle with Care is a very, very clever song, because if you listen to it, it doesn't make no sense. It's just all like words all stuck together into it, sort of thing. They did do a few like promo videos, like I say. Unfortunately, they never got to tour. At the concert for George, by the way, which we was on about in another video, weren't we? The Traveling Wilburys did sort of perform there, because they did a version of Handle with Care, which had Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, Jim Keltner, and Denny Harrison, and some of the Heartbreakers. The thing because I'm going off the topic slightly here, because I've got back into the or rediscovered that concert for George. The thing that surprises me about that concert is that Bob Dylan didn't appear, because him and George were supposed to be really, really good friends, weren't they? Perhaps he couldn't get over to the UK. I don't know, but it just amazes me that, you know, for saying how close they were over the years, that he wasn't there. Because Bob Dylan appeared at the concerts of Bangladesh, didn't he? And that was like one of the highlights of the concert, wasn't it? So I'm always surprised why he wasn't at the concert for George, but that's probably another story. Yeah, if you haven't got this album, I would highly recommend it. It was produced by Otis and Nelson Wilbury, who was actually Jeff Lynne and George Harrison. I think they used pseudonyms so that they couldn't get sued by other record companies, because obviously everybody here was like technically contracted to a different record label, weren't they? So it was actually supposedly on Wilbury Records, but I think it was just part of Warner Brothers, wasn't it? So that is side one. Lovely label. I'm sure most of you have got this record anyway. And then side two has all the tracks. And it just say all tracks written by the Traveling Wilburys, so it doesn't say who actually wrote which song. Again, so they'll just all share the royalties, I should imagine. Very, very clever. Very, very clever in lots of ways. I wasn't actually playing this. I was watching some of the videos on YouTube earlier today, and it just sort of like got me thinking what a fantastic band this was. I mean, saying they weren't really together that long, were they? You know, never played live. Well, as far as I know, they never played live. Otis Wilbury, keyboards, guitars, lead and backing vocals. Nelson Wilbury, guitars, lead and backing vocals. Charlotte T. Jr., acoustic guitars, lead and backing vocals. Lefty Wilbury, acoustic guitar, lead and backing vocals. Lucky Wilbury, acoustic guitar, lead and backing vocals, with Jim Keltner, drums, Jim Horn, saxophone, Ray Cooper, percussion, Ian Wallace, tom-toms on handle with care. You know, so lovely album. Very, very nice album to listen to. I haven't actually got volume 3, which I'll have to sort out, because that's got Wilbury twist on it, hasn't it? I'm sure that's got the Wilbury twist on it. And if you haven't watched that, the video for that, it's very, very funny. It's got a cameo by John Candy and Eric Idle in it. Yeah, very, very funny video. Yeah, so the Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1. Remember, there was no Volume 2, but they did make 2 albums, so it's Volume 1 and Volume... Oh, Volume 1 and Volume 3. I'm going to try and get Volume 2. In fact, I might go and look on eBay to see how much it is. Very, very lightweight record, though, this. Was released hot on the heels of George's so-called comeback album, wasn't it, Cloud 9. I think this is probably one of the best things that George ever did. Again, that is just my personal opinion. Watching the videos, it looks like there was all, and I mean all of them, everybody that was involved with this was really, really enjoying working together, and the laughing and joking sort of thing and smiling at one of us. It's like, I think to start off with, this could have been a bit like a Mickey take. Oh, let's, you know, if you could have a band, who shall we have in it? Oh, let's get Roy Orbison, let's get Bob Dylan, you know, things like. And then when it became a reality, I think they were just like all looking at one another thinking, you know, we are really doing this sort of thing, aren't we? Well, that's how it appears on the videos to me. Again, that's just my opinion. I'm ashamed to say I haven't actually played this album in a long time. Basically because I watched a lot of the Traveling Wilburys stuff on YouTube downstairs. I think this is an original. I seem to remember getting it around the time it came out, 1988, wasn't it? So it's got the UK catalogue number and everything there, and you get a barcode. And I think that's brilliant. I've just got the guitar cases there. Sound quality, I think, is very, very good. Like I say, parts of it do sound a bit like ELO. But then again, parts of Cloud 9 sounded a bit like ELO, didn't they? Which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticising that. It's not a bad thing. But to get I mean, if you actually ever, before this album was released, say, if you'd have ever tried to get these 5 people on the same record and you wanted to release it, you know, as George Harrison featuring Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, Bob Dylan and Jeff Lynne, that record would probably have never been allowed to be released because of all the contractual issues that would have gone around it. So by making up names for themselves and releasing it as the Traveling Wilburys, I think that's how they got around it. Could be wrong, and I probably am. But like I say, when you watch the videos are an absolute joy to watch. Sue didn't really know a lot about the Traveling Wilburys. She knew Handle with Care, and we was watching a few of them today, and she was tapping it, you know, nodding her head and tapping her fingers and, you know, tapping her feet and things like that. And she goes, "Why aren't you tapping your foot?" And I goes, "Oh, I thought I was." But yeah, fantastic. Lovely, fun album in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, 3 of the members out of the 5 are no longer with us, are they? You know, because obviously poor old Roy was the first to pass away, wasn't he? Then it was George, and then it was Tom Petty, wasn't it? So there's only really Bob Dylan and Jeff Lynne still alive out of the Traveling Wilburys, which when you think 1988 doesn't seem 5 minutes ago to me. It really doesn't seem 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I know it's, you know, 36 odd years ago, isn't it? But, or 30, yes, about 36 years ago, isn't it? Yes, I would highly recommend it if you haven't got it, but I'm sure you all have. Yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick video, just to basically mention this, because there's a lot of us Beatles channels out there, isn't there? And I'm not sure I've ever actually seen anybody mentioning this. They might have done it in passing, but they've never like done a bit of like a little review like I have. It's not an in-depth review by all means, you know, it's just something quick, just so you've got something before I go away for a few days. But yeah, I would highly recommend this. If you haven't got it, check it out. I think you can still get it pretty cheaply. You might still be able to get this brand new in certain record shops, I don't know. Because haven't the rights of all George's stuff, including this, gone to somewhere now, haven't they? Can't remember who it is. I know it was in the news, wasn't it, a few weeks ago. But yeah, highly enjoy it. So it is one of the best pieces of work George was involved in. That's all I'll say. Yes, it's not on par with All Things Must Pass, and to a certain extent not even Cloud 9. But you've got Happy George on here. You know, really, really happy George. Working with one of his heroes, Roy Orbison. Working with one of his best mates, Bob Dylan, and another one of his best mates, Jeff Lynne. And I think he knew Tom Petty through Jeff Lynne anyway. So yeah, great. Wouldn't it have been nice to see them live? Or for them to do a live concert or a televised concert or something like that. So that's got to be it, folks. A big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel, subscribing and leaving me likes and leaving me comments. Excuse me. If you've not subscribed and you've liked my video, just think about subscribing. So it's a subscription button and there'll be a bell thing. Then you'll get notifications. Leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe, by the way. Don't really know why they call it subscription, but yeah. But yeah, we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. So I'm going to leave you now. And it's getting very dark in the UK. Apparently we're going to get thunderstorms and all sorts later on. So I presume it's going to absolutely chuck it down when we're in Liverpool. I hope not. I hope it doesn't. But the nice thing about Liverpool, if you've never been, is it can be chucking it down with rain and there's still places you can go. There's a lot of free museums and things like that. We love it. It's like our second home. We try to go twice a year. And, you know, me and Sue have got married just under 2 months ago. And we did go on a little break after we got married to a lovely place in Matlock, Derbyshire. But this is like a sort of proper honeymoon. So I'm not bothered what the weather does. We'll just enjoy it. We've never ever had a bad time in Liverpool. I love Liverpool. If I won the lottery, I'd move there tomorrow. I really would. You know, and it's not just the Beatles connection. It's like when we get there. Well, I mean, we're going on National Express tomorrow, but usually we go on the train. And as soon as you get off the train, it's like, yeah, we're back home. That's what it feels like. Lovely people, lovely city. You know, they've done wonders. The people of Liverpool have done wonders over the past 40 odd years. Since sort of like the late 70s, they have transformed that city from a rundown city to a nice, vibrant city full of life, energy, culture. You know, don't believe everything you see in the news. Liverpool is not as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, there's bad places in Liverpool, but it is a big city. There's bad places in every city. You know, don't judge everything by just something that you might read or see in the news. That's all I'll say on that one. We've never had a problem. We've been going there for the past 8 years. Yeah, Sue loves it, and she don't even like being in crowds, and but yet she'll go in the cavern. So, till the next time, Beatle Dave. Remember, you are the beat in Beatle Dave. Without you, this channel wouldn't be going. And I love you all. And so, till the next time, you're not going to get a video now, probably till next week. Although I might do a few shorts. By the way, I might do a few shorts. I don't know. It depends how this phone's working. Because I've had a couple of problems with it today. So, anyway, until the next time, remember, Beatle Dave loves you all. Peace and love, mate. Peace and love. Peace, love, and happiness to you all.